All need something in our lives. Maybe you're craving attention from other people, to be rich and have a nice car, or something even simpler like having more free time to do what you want to do. But as we pursue our goals, we quickly realize how hard it actually is to achieve them. So we struggle and struggle to the point where we forget. We forget why we even want our desires in the first place. And if we do remember, is all of the suffering worth it anyways? Viktor Frankl is a Holocaust survivor. In his book, Man's Search of Meaning, he shares his experiences among the concentration camps where death was occurring on an hourly basis. Deaths caused by gas chambers, shootings, starvation, and many more ways, but Frankl states that the number one reason for the death of so many people was their inability to figure out a reason to stay alive. For him, thinking about his wife, even though he didn't even know if she was still alive, was more than enough of a reason to keep on living. Having no reason to why someone is going through all of this torture is a one-way ticket to eventually give up. In Frankl's case, surviving, and in our case, pursuing our goals. From this book, we can see how much the human body can endure if the spirit has a reason to why it's doing it, and it must be a damn good reason. A quote that Frankl included in the book was by Nietzsche: "He who has a why can bear almost any how," which Nietzsche really stood by considering he was sick for most of his life, but yet found a how to bear the sickness. And yes, you can't survive when someone is stabbing you in a back alley only because you gave them a funny look, but in our case, it's different. Is our reason for our goal really that meaningful so we keep going no matter how much suffering we are going through? And are you sure you even want your desire in the first place? Or do you want all the benefits that come from it? Again, a quote from Nietzsche in his book Beyond Good and Evil. Ultimately, it is the desire, not the desired, that we love. Do you want that luxury car or the attention you get from it? Do you want that milk factory or your dad to come back? A lot of goals and interests in our lives come from the status that they have in society, no matter in what shape or form. Yes, Crocs are popular and highly regarded, but that doesn't mean that we have to buy them because, let's be honest, they low-key ugly. But the problem here is that we do end up buying them, not because we like them, but because other people will comment on them. And that's where the true intent behind our meaningless comes from.
Craving.
A craving that doesn't go away.
Power, attention, validation, money.
And many more goals that we can't get enough of and we obviously want. But unlike goals that you have a meaning to achieve, craving-based goals are different. Even if you do achieve them, you want more. More money, more power, more attention. And as we pursue them, we quickly notice the pattern. Not having them leads to suffering. We want them so much that if we don't get them constantly, we suffer. Craving is suffering, which is one of the main points of Buddhism. In the Buddha's words by Dalai Lama, kind of a harsh example was used. Someone asked Buddha about the passing away of suffering and how we can free ourselves from it. The Blessed One asked the person a question. Imagine your partner lost their life. Would yours be lost too? Obviously, the man replied with yes, he would be devastated and would lose the meaning of his life. I mean, it's normal, how could he possibly live on without this pain existing inside of him? To which Buddha replied, whatever suffering arises, all that arises is rooted in desire, with desire as its source, for desire is the root of suffering. The fuck does that mean? Don't worry, I also barely got this quote the first time I read it, but basically, we want our partner to live. We want them to be with us, otherwise we would lose our meaning. How could one possibly be fine with losing someone so close to us? But the question was never about being fine with it, but being unattached by it. The end of something is never the end of everything, and that's what Buddha tries to imply. Yes, it is a tragedy of something like this happening, but holding on to the idea of that person being alive, or back to our case, of our idea that our craving will make us happier is what makes us suffer. Not the fact, but the idea of what could have happened. Let's say you want to get rid of validation. Accepting it as a fact that you don't need it is easy, but the relentless thoughts of what could have been are what torment us so much to the point where we go to desperate measures. So we must choose. Do we create a meaning in our suffering, an actual reason to why we want to go through what we want, Or do we get detached? Maybe a middle ground could be formed, a place where you detach yourselves from cravings that you have no real meaning behind nor you control, while you're also pursuing goals that you actually deeply care about and can control. The meaning of our goals and our lives in general is for us to decide. You don't find the meaning of your life, you create it. You don't find a purpose, you create it. So pick very carefully which desires you want to have in your life and which ones you must detach from, because in the end, no matter in what situation, craving is suffering, and it all comes from one thing: desire. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching.